This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Yeah, Coach, can you talk a little bit about your decision to come back to Liberty? Like, what made you return to Liberty to take over this job?
Yeah, the reason we came back was I just felt like God was calling us back here. Coach Tolsma talked with us, mentioned it last summer, and initially I did not see it really happening. We'd really settled in there to Texas, and but as we prayed about it, my wife Kelly and I felt like God was giving us that freedom to consider it and the excitement to come back and be a part of God's plans and purposes for this was certainly in our eyes exciting to look forward to that. The vision for the program all encapsulates what we like to do as far as ministry. The older I get, the more I realize it's not about the medals, but the opportunities to invest in people's lives, and my wife and I are passionate about that. So considering to come back here was one of those opportunities that I felt like that God was giving us the freedom to do, and then to have those conversations further with Coach Tolsma, Todd Patulski, Ian McCall. I realized that they really embraced the principles and the vision that we had in our hearts, and going forward was really exciting, knowing that we'd be going forward with people like that, and that was exciting for us.
You talked about the vision a couple of times there. Can you explain what your vision is for Liberty Track and Field?
Going forward, the vision that we have is to really continue doing what Coach Tolsma started years ago. Years ago, Dr. Falwell had that vision of training champions for Christ, and that's more than just a slogan. What difference can we make in their lives 10 years from now? But with the facilities, with the vision that he created, started, developed, Liberty has an opportunity to represent Christ at the highest level, at the top levels of the NCAA, Division I. And our desire is to develop athletes that are Christ-centered, focus on honoring Him, and as they do that on a daily basis, the results will be positive. So we want to impact young men and women's lives for the kingdom, and as they understand and grow in that, there's a freedom to excel, and that excellence gets better and better. And as you look around, we see the opportunities. We have to train in some of the best facilities in the country. Years ago, Dr. Falwell said if it's Christian, it ought to be better. Coach Tolsma certainly kept reiterating that, and so we just want to continue that path that they've begun. And it's not about me, it's not about us as individuals, it's about boldly going forward, knowing that we have a cause, and that cause is to represent Christ at the highest level.
What makes Liberty such a special place?
Answering the question what makes Liberty a special place may take a while, but basically it's the opportunity that we have to really make an influence on people's lives, to elevate them to a higher level, to pour into them so that we're not just impacting them for track and field and helping them maybe win some medals, but we're impacting the direction not only that they will take, but their families will take for years to come. And when you realize the exponential effect that has, because we've been talking with our team about even leadership qualities. As a leader of young men and women, my desire is to teach them not only the right principles, but teach them how to lead others in the future. And when you think about Christ's model of pouring into the disciples, and then those disciples poured into other people, the exponential effect that Christ had on countless number of people, that's our desire, to take that same model and teach our young men and women how to impact, not only be impacted, but then to impact others. And the exponential effect that's exciting. And at Liberty, we have that total freedom to go forward boldly, and in the meantime we get to play track. And that's what's exciting, is because you're investing, it's eternal in nature, it's not temporal. All those things just resonate with me in my heart to go forward well and to impact people's lives, not just for 4 years. And I talk to recruits all the time and tell them, if it's just about the next 4 years, we're missing the mark. But if we realize the things, the principles, the biblical principles we're trying to instill in their lives will make a difference not only in track, but also in their lives for years to come. Probably a long answer to that question, but those are the things that's so exciting for me. To be able to do what God's called us to do with the freedom and make an impact on young men and women's lives for eternity.
And then during the time you've been here, starting to get to know this year's team, like what are your first impressions of the people who are part of this year's track and field team?
Well, it starts with our staff. It starts with Paul Carmody. It starts with all those people that God surrounded us with. I mean, we have undoubtedly the best staff that I could ever imagine coming up with. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. Their experience, their heart, knowing that everything that we're trying to instill in our program has already been a part of their lives. Talented. Our young men and women, we have a very talented group. Coach Vinny is into stats, kind of like Coach Tolsma was, and so we were doing our preliminary testing at the start of the year, and he showed me the chart of what he calls kind of the elite levels, and last year's chart was good, but this year's chart nearly doubled it, and we're like, wow. And so it's exciting seeing the talent level, but I've had many one-on-one conversations with these young men and women already, and starting to see that many of them it's not just having moldable hearts, but it's their desire to go forward well. It's not just where they are right now, but they have many of them have a sense of, okay, how do I grow? Help me grow. And those are the conversations I just love. Getting to help them get a better perspective of track and how it fits into God's plan for them in their lives. How it's not just about right now; it's down the future too. So those are some of the things I'm really excited about. Of course, certainly excited about the facility. I mean, the first time I actually got to see it was that first night that Jaden picked me up. We drive in here, we're standing right over there, and I'm looking out at this facility. I actually had some tears in my eyes because I was like, thank you, God. Thank you for allowing me to kind of be back into something and be a part of something that kind of had a little involvement with and knowledge of previously, but to see that kind of come about was really special.